Hello YouTubers, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. The topic of this video is going to look into, are women too picky in the relationship arena? This is something I've felt quite strongly about recently. I feel it is definitely the case, but if you agree or you've got any other views or you disagree, I'd be happy to see your comments below. I know for a lot of men that I know, they definitely also think that's the case. What I've done is set up a small social experiment over the past 3 months. This has been using online dating websites. I've set up I wouldn't say a fake profile, it's a real profile, but just to dip my toe in and just to see and try and gauge what kind of a response that I would get back. So I'll show you that now. I'll show you the written information I included on the profile, and also the pictures, as they'll be looked at holistically. So I'll give you a while to have a look at this and see what you think of this profile. Again, any comments, anything you can pick out and think, you know, I wouldn't have put that on there, or anything positive, please let me know. Yeah, so as you can see, there's the written information I've included on my profile. You'll see on here I am a short guy. I'm unusually short. Now this is something I've highlighted. You know, it's probably well known that women don't like a short guy. From my experience, if someone's 6 foot, I've seen some women walking around with absolute mammoths of guys. You know, they're well overweight. You know, they're huge. They've got tits. You know, but they'd rather have a great big huge guy who's out of shape rather than a smaller guy who's maybe more in shape. I don't know. Again, if you could comment on this, especially if you're a woman, would you prefer a great big lump of a guy? Is it the protective thing? Is it about this, you know, this caveman, gotta have someone huge to protect me? I don't know, but from my experience, I really fall down in the relationship arena because of my height, and you know, something I can't do anything about. What I have tried to do in my dating profile though is really highlight some of the strengths and the things that I think would appeal to women, and you know, I've done my research to try and find out what kind of things I should be putting on my profile to try and sell myself. So you know, my education, I've highlighted the fact that I have got a degree, asked that anyway. My profession, which I'm very proud of, it's a bloody hard work at times, but you know, I'm happy. You know, I think being a teacher, it's got a lot of quite a moral value in society. It's, you know, it's a qualified, it's a good career as well, the teaching profession. Well, good for maybe people outside it anyway. It's got quite a lot of credibility, I think, the teaching profession. Generally, you know, you are a professional, and it is a career, definitely not a job. Also about me, I've put a little note, nothing too wild below, but I've just picked out some of the qualities that I think are my positives. So, you know, determined, ambitious, like to think I've got a good sense of humour, you know, tenacious. Again, things I think would you know, give me some ticks in you know, the positive column when a woman would be reading this profile. You know, I've also said, you know, highlighted, maybe this was a mistake, I don't know, if you let me know, but I've put good job, got my own car, got my own home, you know, again, things that I'm proud of, things that I've worked at, and you know, as far as I can see from my research, these are qualities that a woman will value. Again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe a woman isn't interested in that at all. Interests, I've put some outdoorsy and some indoorsy interests. So I do like my films and, you know, gaming when I've got time, but I've also put running and camping. So I mean, it's, you know, I'm not making this stuff up. I do enjoy running when I can. I do enjoy camping. I've especially chosen these because I read on dating profiles you should be trying to put something to show you're an outdoorsy person, especially for a man to be quite athletic, quite sporty. You know, this is what women do want to see in a guy. I think it came up in the top 10 of what women want. They all wanted a guy to have some sporty element to their character. So I've put that down. Anyway, next I'm going to show you the photos I've put on there, because of course any woman or girl, if you like, who's looking at this profile will look at it holistically. Men obviously go straight for the photo; they're very visual from what I know. Women, I think, do read a bit deeper generally, but I'll show you the photos I've put on here. Well, here we are then. This is me in all my glory. Again, comments below to say, do you think that's a good-looking fella, or is it an average, below average? Probably not best to pull your punches. I might as well know, so we can sort of get to the bottom of this. But I wouldn't say I'm the best-looking guy, but at the same time, I wouldn't say I'm particularly ugly. I mean, there's some people out there, they're really overweight, or they're really goofy, or they're really spotty, or I wouldn't say I was the most unattractive guy in the world by any means. So just take a minute, have a look at these photos and see what you think of those. See what the positives and what the negatives are, and especially if you're a woman, would it be those photos that are particularly putting you off that profile, or would it maybe be the height that you saw in the profile information, or something else? If you could let me know what in particular would turn you off straight away, that might help me pinpoint why I haven't had many replies. Anyway, you might have heard me let slip there that I didn't have a lot of luck with the profile I've just shown you. In fact, for the first month I sat back and I thought, well, I'll let them come to me. My profile's out there now. They can click on it, they can read it. It should come up when they log on for a selection of women anyway. I know it's obviously rotates, but they do get shown matches. But I left it on there for a month and honestly didn't get a thing back, not one message. So yeah, and then I led me to believe, well, maybe they're sat back doing the same thing. Maybe they're waiting for the traditional guy needs to initiate the contact. So I started emailing some women. I searched through the profiles. I did avoid your 8s, 9s, 10s. I tried to pick women who I like to consider were within my league, or comfortably within my league even. And again, got no response. I was probably emailing 5 women an evening, just choosing a handful that I had things in common with, that I thought I could start off and spark a decent conversation with, and again, nothing. So I can only assume they were getting the emails and completely ignoring. So that was a bit disheartening, if I'm honest. So, what do you do if you're emailing a handful of women every night and not even getting a dignified response or any response whatsoever? I think the problem is I'm hoping this is the case, that men are going on there and blanket emailing lots and lots and lots of women. They may be sending a message to every single match they've got just to try and play a numbers game. This is what I've heard men might be doing, and of course, women, when they open their email box, I've got 100 likes, or I've got 100 emails from men. What does that do? It massively boosts their ego, and then of course they go looking for the very, very best. So whereas they might have lacked a bit of confidence in the past, they suddenly find out that 100 men are emailing them. Well, what they're after, being a man myself, and knowing men as well, and their very nature, and that the click of a button, especially with the internet now, doesn't cost them anything, not even any loss of face. Got a feeling a lot of them are playing a numbers game, and they're probably just out for not a committed relationship, I'm afraid. Again, I might be wrong with some of them, but I think men are just emailing, or maybe out of desperation. In fact, maybe they're sending 100 emails because, like me, they sent 5 and maybe thought, well, nothing there. Sent 10, still no response. So what do you do in that case? You send 100. I think maybe out of frustration, possibly. Maybe out of frustration. Maybe out of just see what I can get, see how much interest I can drum up. I'm not sure. Again, responses down below to see what you think about this. I'd be interested to know. Do you think men are basically blankets emailing hundreds of women online, and that's why women are being or getting the opportunity to be quite so picky and deleting majority of the emails they get? Is online dating in that case for men, or does it lean towards giving women the advantage? Best to go out and make contact in person. Is that more effective if you're a woman? That would be helpful to know. So again, just to remind you, this was a social experiment. So don't think, oh well, I've gone and it's no good you emailing 100 women because you're just as bad as supposedly all these other guys that are doing exactly the same thing. I'm doing this purely to try and come to some sort of a conclusion. Is the online dating arena just no good for men whatsoever, if that's the case? I'd like to get to the bottom of why I'm not getting any replies. Again, I say brutal, but try and be as brutal as you like, especially if you're a woman. What would put you off this particular profile? What is putting women and girls, if you like, off of this particular profile? Is it the profile pictures? I've got a slightly higher opinion of myself than I should have. If so, maybe you should bring me down to earth. Is it the height? Because this is what, obviously, 5'3" is not a good height to be for a guy. I think I've said previously in this video, there's a lot of great big guys, and they might be well out of shape, but I just get the feeling I see a lot of great big huge guys. They've generally had more attention from women. I think I get overlooked, if you pardon the pun. So yeah, if it's the height, and you think if you would click on this profile and you think, oh, not too bad looking, nice looking guy, and then suddenly you read, okay, 5'3", is that something that would majorly put you off? And at least then, I can pinpoint what the issue is, and at least I'll know for my own purpose. Okay, so just to wrap this up, for every 100 emails I was sending, I was probably getting on average one reply out of every 100, which for me, that's just a bit worrying. There's something going wrong there, and like I said, is it the profile that I've put up? Is there a glaring error or something that I really shouldn't have put on that profile? Or do you think my suspicions are correct? Is it the case that men are going on, every man on there's blanket emailing women willy-nilly, and of course they're deleting 90% of their inbox? And unfortunately, am I finding myself in that 90% for a lot of the women? I don't know. Again, your opinions would be appreciated. What I'm going to do now, probably a bit naughty, but I'm going to show you a picture of one of the girls that did respond. In fact, I was in conversation with her for a couple of months, and after a couple of months, we got on okay. We in fact, we even met up. It didn't actually go anywhere from there. We had a decent enough date, had some good conversation, had a walk round, went for a drink in the pub. I wouldn't say it went fantastically well, but it was a decent date. We sort of got on. But I mean, it's not to be too nasty of anything, but if you look at her photo, she's certainly not what you would call a looker. We talk about 9s and 10s. She's probably a 1 or a 2. She's really, I wouldn't say she's one of the most attractive girls by a long shot, in fact. And also as well, she had just in terms of personality, she had an okay personality. She was she was all right, okay for conversation. I wouldn't say she had a blinding personality. And also as well, she had quite a menial job. She, nothing really stood out. She was quite an average girl, basically, when we met up. And it just went dry. We sort of met up, couple of emails exchanged the next day, and that was it. You know, I emailed her just in conversation, and it completely dried up. So obviously something on that date put her off as well. Obviously you weren't there, so we don't know. But yeah, opinions. If you look at her photo, in my opinion, if we're looking visually, you know, for physically, I would definitely say, apart from the height that lets me down, I would definitely say that she's comfortably within my league. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the case at all. But I'd like your feedback on that. Are my expectations too high? Have I got an inflated opinion of myself? I might as well know, so at least I can set myself straight. If not, what is the case? What is the problem? That's the end of my first YouTube video. Comments below. I'd really the whole purpose I'm putting this video up is to get your feedback. So it'd be really appreciated. And you know, brilliant if you could even send a video response and we can get the ball rolling. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.